Welcome back to this episode of Ask doTERRA. I'm Kirk Jowers, and we are here with Randy Shumway, the founder and CEO of Cicero Group. Thanks for being with us, Randy.
Thanks for having me, Kirk.
Randy has an MBA from Harvard Business School and formerly worked with Bain & Company and AnswerThink. Over 20 years ago, he started a company called Cicero Group. He saw a huge need of finding a company that could do really intense strategy, database research consulting, and has become an internationally recognized firm in that regard. He's worked with companies like Disney, AT&T, Microsoft, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and Google, and most impressively, doTERRA. doTERRA recently partnered with Cicero Group to commission a study. We wanted a large-scale research project on the population of the United States to see where we are after this 8 years, to see what are our strengths, what are our perceived strengths and weaknesses, what is the saturation of our penetration. We've grown so large, but do people really know who we are? Do we have the same name ID as a Google or a Disney, or are we still relatively unknown? I've been excited to get this out to our wellness advocates so they can understand exactly where we sit. So first, could you tell us a little bit about what Cicero does, the research, the analytics, the quantitative and qualitative work that you do to help guide us in understanding where we are in the market?
So Kirk, I think it's important to accentuate that Cicero is a third-party, unbiased data analytics and research consulting firm. Our objective was to get a randomized, unbiased, truly representative general population sample and find out what people felt regarding doTERRA, as well as essential oils generally, as well as other brands within the essential oils market. It was an extensive study. We conducted a host of digital surveys, some hour-long in-depth interviews with individuals and focus groups around the country in order to understand not only what people felt, but why they felt that way. And conducting extensive analysis at the conclusion of the study, we were able to generate tremendous perspective and insights about doTERRA. And you know, the general summary would be that doTERRA has incredible potential for growth here in the United States.
Well, and one reason, of course, you know that I hired you is I've talked to some of your other clients and they told me he's not going to pull any punches. He'll tell you exactly where you sit. And so if you want a pat on the back, don't hire Randy. Here's another group. If you want to know exactly where you are, hire Cicero. And so I appreciate the straight shooting.
When collected accurately, data doesn't lie.
One thing I was thrilled to see was that doTERRA ranked much higher than our competitors when it comes to company values, company integrity, and company culture. How did you get to that finding?
Well, a couple of things. One, we were a bit surprised. As young as doTERRA is, 8 years in business, we didn't expect for that brand recognition to be quite so strong. Second is we looked at what attributes most matter to different segments of customers and how each essential oil company ranked among those. And in terms of integrity, company values, company culture, doTERRA was number one.
Well, I love to see that because I'm new to doTERRA. I don't get credit for the first 7 years of growth at all because I was not with the company. But I took about 6 months looking into this company. At first a bit skeptically, to be honest, but that's what really brought me over. These were founders, these were wellness advocate leaders who I got to know who cared about the oil, and they cared about integrity above all else. And so to see that come out in this nationwide study, I think is a real merit to the people who really founded this company and kept that as their focus from day one. The other question I think that our wellness advocates will be really interested in hearing about is the market. Is it ripe for them, or is our tremendous growth both a good and a bad thing? What did you find? Are we saturated, or is there still a long ways to go for doTERRA?
Well, doTERRA has good brand recognition and good brand respect. But interestingly, if you look across the United States, Where you have the highest brand awareness is in the Rocky Mountain region. About 33% of the general population recognizes doTERRA.
That's our home headquarters. That makes some sense. We've got a good concentration here.
That's number one. It's less in other regions, all the way to the Northeast region, which is about a third as strong brand awareness along the Northeast region. So about 11% of the Northeast region recognize the doTERRA brand. So it seems like there's a lot of upside opportunity.
So just to make sure I'm doing my math, I'm an attorney, you're an MBA guy. So 33%.
That's the high mark.
That's the high mark here in this Rocky Mountain region, Utah, Colorado, et cetera. About one in three people have ever even heard of doTERRA.
Which means 2/3 have not. And in the Northeast region, about 90% have
Almost
not.
9 out of 10 people have never heard of
That's
doTERRA.
correct. That's correct.
So we've got some growth, I
So
think.
of those that are familiar with doTERRA, the brand's quite positive, but there's a lot of people that have never heard of doTERRA.
The great news is people who have heard of doTERRA seem to like us. They have great opinions of us, but we've got a long ways to go to even get people to understand us. What did you find as you were looking? Where are our strengths? Where are some things we should focus on as we try to reach out?
Well, the data suggests that there is considerable room to grow. For example, the market for natural product users is growing immensely. If you look at the millennials, so let's say the age 18 to 39 years of age, 55% are current natural product users. 35% of those 40 years and older are current natural product users. So if you look at the rapid recent growth, and you look at the largest segment is the 18 to 39-year-old millennials.
Right.
There's going to be introduction by them to their parents of these natural products and to their children. So there's significant room to grow for both the older generations and children, the younger generations that are going to be capitalizing on natural products.
So that's doTERRA specific as well as natural products. You also looked at just simply essential oils.
Yeah. Essential oils specifically.
Right. Are people positive toward essential oils? What are the numbers there? Do they even know what essential oils are? What type of market do we have there?
Yeah, great question. Great question. 66% of the U.S. population has never used essential oils. More than 50% of that same population are interested in trying essential oils. Just do the math. More than 100 million people in the United States have never tried essential oils but are interested in trying them.
That is pretty amazing. I think sometimes we get into our own little worlds and we think everybody knows how to use patchouli. And as you say, over 100 million people in the United States have never even used lavender or some of the kind of entry essential oils that are so easy to start with. Wellness advocates have a huge opportunity to teach and to share, it seems. What have you found as far as where should they concentrate those efforts?
Well, the data shows that once properly informed, the general population shows a strong interest in essential oils, even if they've never used any natural products. The three most important attributes people consider when purchasing essential oils are effectiveness, purity, and therapeutic grade quality. doTERRA ranks higher in those three categories than any other essential oil company in the United States.
That is a sweet spot.
Yeah.
The thing that's been really fun for me, I sit across from Dr. David Hill, who's our Chief Medical Officer, and we actually have over 115 relationships with phenomenal universities, research universities, medical institutions. We had some of them speak at our convention, ranging from Duke to the Huntsman Cancer Institute to huge hospitals around the country. And the thing that's most important to them actually echoes the consumer is they will only use doTERRA, many of them, because ours are the most tested and the most trusted, and they know every time they're going to get the same high quality, potent, pure essential oils. So thank you so much for joining us. It's been incredible, and we will make some of these findings available for the field to really be able to wallow in the data, as they say, and to really understand what you found. It's amazing what doTERRA has accomplished in these past 8 years, and I appreciate you quantifying that for us.
Well, doTERRA, from the data, appears to be extraordinarily well positioned to grow and to thrive in the coming years. If I were a wellness advocate, I'd be pretty optimistic of the opportunities.
Randy, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your insight and that data that we will use to great effect here at doTERRA. And thank you for joining us today. With these research findings, we are even more optimistic and grateful that we are primed for continued growth, and we truly feel the future has never been brighter. Our foundation is strong, and with partnership from you, our wellness advocates, our scientific partners, and our sourcing partners around the world, our potential truly is limitless. In our next Ask doTERRA episode, Emily Wright will join us to discuss some practical ways to apply these research findings to building your business. We'll see you next time here at Ask doTERRA.